Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. I am the great and peaceful Mr. E.
And this is Jay's beard.
Horrible. So, today's freak may in fact be the most impressive fauna we've ever talked about.
Like, impressive in what ways?
Many ways.
Like, the most freakiest?
All right, so I'll read you a little paragraph, and I'll see if you can guess the animal.
Okay, I like this game.
Around 4,000 years ago, a colony of these animals built a structure so large that the amount of earth that was moved was equivalent to 4,000 times the amount used to construct the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Okay.
Now, listen to what I just said.
Right, 4 times...
4,000.
Oh, 4,000.
The amount of earth moved by these creatures equivalates to about 4,000 times the volume of the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Okay, so it's something digging tunnels. All right. 4,000 years. The ground sloth?
This single species built a subterranean city the size of Great Britain under the earth in Brazil, and it was only discovered a few years ago.
Ground sloth.
It was, in fact, a species of termite.
Oh, dang.
One of the most underrated animals of all time.
Termites? Holy cow, okay.
Yeah, 4,000. So the volume is the city they built.
Right.
Underneath is bigger than Great Britain, the whole Great Britain, and the volume is about 4,000 times that of the Great Pyramids of Giza.
That's pretty big.
It's massive. It's
Unfathomable.
up there with some of the single biggest cavern systems we've ever found, and it's insect made.
Huh.
So let's talk about termites. So we're gonna kind of do a general overview of termites because there's many different types of termite. These guys are amazing engineers. If you scaled it up, they definitely outrival us in their capabilities to build, structural integrity, and everything like that.
Okay.
Most of the time, these guys live subterraneanly. Some of them are like wood borers and stuff like that, but most of these guys are going to live underground. They are on every continent except Antarctica. Lifespan, the queens can live. How long do you think a queen can live?
I don't know. 2 years.
Well, over 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there's some cases where they think queens may be, in fact, 20 or 25 years old.
That's impressive.
For an insect that's tiny?
For a bug?
They're not bugs.
They're not?
These guys, I don't know where termites fall on that scale.
Okay.
They are insects.
Kind of said that just to probe your reaction.
I actually don't know where these fall on that scale of where's a bug and where's not a bug.
Interesting.
It's like fish.
Right, yeah.
Queens can be anywhere from 2 to 15 millimeters long. Most queens, though, workers can be between 2 and 15 millimeters long. Queens, though, get up into 10 centimeters long, which is 4 inches.
Oh, okay.
So termites, most termites, workers and drones and stuff like that, you can barely see.
Right.
I mean, you can see them. They're extremely tiny. They almost look like lice or bed bugs moving sometimes if you get into like a big heart of a termite colony. But the females are huge in comparison. The breeding queens are huge. Their weight is not a factor. They're so tiny that, the big females can weigh about 1 gram.
Oh, okay. You mean individual weight?
Yes, individual weight.
Okay.
Weight of colony sometimes outweighs, just tons and tons of stuff. Most of the time they're going to be orange or white. Most of the time they have an orange head and a white body. Their diet varies between the species. Anything from decaying leaf litter to wood to fungus, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, so they don't just eat wood?
No, that's a very small subset of the termite species. Is wood eaters. Wood eaters, as in like, get in your house and stuff like that. Predators, everything. Everything will take a chance of eating a termite, from mammals, birds, insects, scorpions, lizards, spiders. Goes on and on and on.
Ant eaters. Do they eat termites? I don't know.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah?
yeah.
All right, I figured.
They probably eat more termites than they do ants.
Yeah, it's just a hard name to say, though.
Termite eater.
Yeah, it's too much.
They're very slow. Number of species. So we're not really sure. We've identified a little over 3,000 species of termite. But some of them may be more hard to find, and some of them may have an individual species per colony. So like that massive one in Brazil.
Might just be its own thing.
It's its own thing. It's probably its own species. It may be the only example because it's been self-sustaining for so long.
Right, yeah.
Conservation status. Most of the species are not listed, or they're listed as least of concern. There are 2 species, though, that are critically endangered.
Okay, where are they at?
I'm not sure.
Oh, what are they, I guess?
It's like a scientific name.
Oh, okay.
There's not like a lot of people working on termites. Let's talk about termites and some of the freaky facts about them. Termites are a very strange bunch indeed. Most time when people are talking about termites, they're talking about the destructive force behind collapsing of wooden houses and framing. They are actually one of the most successful organisms Earth has ever produced, though.
Okay.
So there's always a joke that if aliens came and scanned the planet and they were trying to decide by mass and number of individuals who the apex species was on Earth, they'd probably talk to termites and leave us alone.
It wouldn't be ants?
No.
Oh, okay.
So there's giant like mounds and stuff like that people think are ants are termites. Ants are very impressive in themselves. Termites are on a whole nother level.
Okay.
They're one of the few things that overcompete ants.
I guess I didn't realize that.
Well, it's because a lot of people lump them together.
Yeah, I guess so.
And they're not.
I don't lump them together. I just thought there was more ants always because that's what
there
I see.
There are more ants than people still, and there's more poundage of ants than people.
I mean,
and termites are
above ants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought there's more ants than termites.
You just don't see them because they're a lot tinier.
Right, exactly.
There's just a lot more of them. But yeah, they're actually one of Earth's most successful organisms ever produced. Occupying cracks and crevices in almost every country, like we said, besides Antarctica. And I may argue that because we just started doing some research into the ice sheets of Antarctica, and they have already found ice louse.
What's that?
It's just another invertebrate that's absolutely tiny. But I think there may be a species of termite there too.
I bet there would be.
Because they're breaking the rules, I guess, of what we conventionally think of insects and arthropods being able to do.
Okay.
So the louse is one we have found, and we're like, okay, if they can survive, what else can survive?
Right, yeah.
Termites may be up there. They built extremely vast, extensive underground complexes that can be the size of countries and have intricate air ventilation systems and thermoregulation systems that outsurpass most human designs.
It just works.
They have literally, there's some videos you can look up. Everybody at home, especially if you're one of the kids in classrooms and stuff like that, I highly suggest you look at some of the videos of the air pass-through systems, the air circulating systems in these massive colonies. Like I'm saying, like the one that they found is many times bigger than the Vatican. That's the country they're talking about.
Oh, okay. The smallest country in the world.
But it's still...
Country.
Yes, and termites have built something way, way, way bigger than that.
Right, yeah, it is nuts.
But the ventilation, so they have to have air through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have these most amazing ventilation systems and thermoregulatory systems for heat exchange.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Where they have valves and stuff like that.
That is nuts.
It's insane to me.
I've never seen that in termites, but I've seen it where people opened up like honeybee or bee nests.
Yeah.
Where they do the same thing, regulate airflow and heat.
Yeah, but that's on a bee box.
Well, yeah. Well, like this one, the one I was talking about, it was just in a random, like a
spot. What?
Where bees had gotten into something.
But a beehive is so much smaller.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're not talking something that's 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 miles wide.
The size of Darren Kuyu.
Way bigger. Yet we're still discovering new things about these incredible animals every year, including their numbers, abundance, and diversity. They hold many, many more secrets than we know. So we're just starting to tip the iceberg. A lot of this stuff was coming through the ground-penetrating radar.
Okay.
Where we thought the one in Brazil we thought was the Amazonian culture. We thought that they had underground cities. And then they get down there, and it's a termite city.
That's insane, yeah.
And it's just like everything's made by termites. All right, so let's start with interesting facts. These guys are not ants, is number one. Termites were previously believed to be related to ants in some way. They look kind of like ants, and they behave a lot like them too. They dig in the ground, they bite your feet, they work in huge colonies and branch off for local food sources, just like ants. Despite realizing that they are not quite ants, taxonomists still don't quite understand how peculiar termites are. For the longest time, they occupied their own order, Isopororae, I can't say it. But recent molecular analysis has shown a remarkable close relationship with
roly-polies.
Cockroaches.
Ah, that's close.
With this revelation, they've been added to the cockroach order, Belteridae. And the original day, the original family order they were put in, they just got rid of because they were the only one in it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you take them out,
but if you kind of look at them, they look like ants. But when you really, really look at them, you can see the cockroach,
the roach in them.
Yeah. But because cockroach, everybody has the own that. There are German house roaches and stuff like that.
Okay.
Cockroaches are an amazingly diverse order of animals.
A lot of them. Actually, I was just talking to somebody at the bowling alley about cockroaches and stuff because they said they're moving to Georgia or Florida or somewhere on that line, and they said where they're moving, cockroaches just live there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
It's probably Florida.
Yeah.
Because Florida has a lot of that because there's native species of cockroaches.
Mm-hmm.
So spraying doesn't do anything for them because they're just going to come back in from outside.
Right, yeah.
It's not like here, they'll die in the winter if they go out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the invasive roaches and stuff. And there are 3 or 4 species that are human pests out of the 15,000 species.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are extremely clean animals. I had Madagascar wide-horn hissing cockroaches and I had Halloween hissing cockroaches. And all they did all day was clean themselves.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't mean they're clean animals or bugs out around.
They are. They're very clean. They're much more hygienic. People eat them.
Oh, I mean, if I lick myself all day, it doesn't mean I'm clean.
If you had antibacterial saliva, yeah.
I mean, who's to say I don't?
But no, they are very clean animals. Most allergens that humans get are from the several invasive species we have, human pest species.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, cockroaches kind of get a bad rap. When it's most species of cockroach have nothing.
Right, yeah. I mean, when you hear the word cockroach, especially in your house, it's never a good thing.
No, in your house is different.
Never a clean feeling.
So now that we're looking through them through that lens, it starts making sense. Even though they have different social structures, they share a lot of things in common with their cockroach buddies that ants do not. All right, next one is you think of termites, they're pretty small. The biggest termites we have are 4.2 inches in length. The largest that we ever known was Titomyra gigantea, whose queens grow up to about 2 inches long. In contrast, the largest cockroaches is hilariously named Megalota. Okay, everybody, this is a scientific name. I want to make that clear. Megalota long penisi. Which grows up to about 5 inches in length.
About average.
For comparison, the largest termite queen, Marta termis bacillus, she reaches very similar proportions, or almost being 5 inches in length, by around 2 years in age.
Big termite.
Mm-hmm. Next one. They're a delicacy. While hard to come by, termite queens are considered a rare treat in many parts of the insect-eating world. Soldiers are commonly eaten, but finding the enormous queens is a true delicacy. They are packed full of nutrients, and apparently, by the people that eat them, they're very tasty, with a buttery texture.
I'm not gonna eat the bugs.
Are eaten for health and medicinal purposes. In Mali, how do you say that? Mali. Mali. They're thought to increase a person's social standing.
Eating bugs?
Mm-hmm. Eating the termite queens because they're so hard to get.
Right.
In some traditionals in Uganda cultures, only the chief was allowed to eat the termite queens. Much like any strange food, some people are going to assume that termite queens have aphrodisiac purposes. It's not true as far as we know. No culture says they do that eats them, that seeks them. They just taste really good, apparently.
It's just some guy said that once.
It's a lot of people from Western culture.
Right, exactly.
We don't have a bug eating culture for the most part. Many, many places in the world, it's, a very easy to get nutritious source of food. So when you see somebody, they're like, they're eating it for aphrodisiac purposes. No, it's good. But I've watched people kind of get them. They kind of look like a stick of butter when people are eating them.
Did Bear Grylls eat one on?
He ate grubs.
That was a grub?
Yes.
Okay.
They kind of have a similar butt.
Yeah.
Big fleshy.
Big gross.
What grub? It's a grub. It's a beetle larva.
Yeah.
All right. Next freaky fun fact: they are headbangers.
Okay.
When they need to to share a warning, termites have a heavy metal alert system. By drumming in rhythmic patterns on the ground with their heads, they literally bang their heads into the ground to send pulses in. They offer a loud threat display to potential predators and let other members of the colony know to retreat back into underground caverns. The drumming comes in rattling waves and can be heard for several meters away from insects you can barely see.
That's pretty cool.
Imagine just hearing the boom,
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 boom.
boom.
Yeah.
Boom. And you're like, what is that?
I wonder what it actually sounds like.
I don't know. You can find videos of that, but I've seen people talking about it. Like you can hear it from like 4 or 5 feet away.
It'd be cool if someone actually sampled that on like an actual song.
Imagine if the colony there in Brazil started doing it.
Oh gosh. Yeah. The whole world would shake.
Just like
maybe that's the giant booms we're feeling under the ground.
It's termites. There you go. That's a conspiracy. It's all termites.
It's all termites.
We're just living on their planet.
Basically.
Next freaky fun fact: they can explode.
Oh, okay.
If the early warning system doesn't work, some species have another trick up their sleeves, or at least inside pouches on their back. Specialized salivary glands send copper-coating compounds into the sac, which can combine with another chemical, causing a high explosive reaction when the individual is threatened. This results in a sticky, toxic mess that fends off most invertebrate predators and helps protect the colony. It seems like the ability would serve to aging workers who would most likely be dispensable in the colony. The termites have lots of quirky colony-related effects like this. So basically, all termites can do, all in these species that have this ability, all of them can do it, but it's almost always the old workers that they were getting ready to get rid of anyways.
Right. They go kamikaze mode.
Yes, they would kamikaze and explode.
Suicide vest or whatever.
Yeah. A compound, and it's sticky, and it's very toxic.
Oh, wow. I didn't know termites did that. That's pretty interesting.
They explode.
Yeah. I did not know that.
I mean, they're also building structures that are bigger than countries.
Yeah, that's also pretty
and
awesome.
Then if you mess with them, they'll run out and explode at you.
That's pretty funny.
Next fact, they change over times. While ants, wasps, and bees follow a similar process of metamorphosis as many other families of 3-stage insects like butterflies do, termites grow much more like crickets or cockroaches. They have multiple molts as they age. This allows them to go through many stages called mini metamorphosis.
Mini metamorphosis?
Mini metamorphosis.
That's a fun one to say.
Each molt comes with a slight change in their design of the termite. This allows them to fit different roles as they age.
Okay.
So literally...
different niches for different stages of their life.
Ants will become like, they're a larva. They become like a little chrysalis. That chrysalis forms into an ant. When they emerge, they're an ant. They're an ant forever. Mm-hmm. They're that stage of ant forever, whatever they were specialized to do.
Okay.
Termites, every time they molt, they change into a new form of termite.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's crazy to me.
Transmutation.
Each caste, so here's a crazy one. Each caste represents an organ of a superorganism.
Okay.
So whereas ants, bees, and wasps work together, and they're usually all sterile females, in some termite species, they have colonies of mixed sexes. The one is significant difference, but there are plenty more. Termites not only have a queen, but they also have a king who stays with the queen, and they mate for life normally. The only time this has been seen not to happen is if one is destroyed.
Right, yeah.
So they're ants will just pick thousands of mates.
Yeah, yeah.
These guys hook up forever unless one is died, and most of the time the other one doesn't reproduce anymore after that.
It's like a goose.
Yeah, kind of like a goose or a swan.
A swan, yeah.
I don't know if goose are as hardcore as swans, but swans are really hardcore when it comes to that. But they have a king. So young workers do most of the colony or most of the colony when it comes to food. In fact, they act as the digestive system for the whole colony.
Hmm.
The foragers, they forage, they store food, and they even digest it for others, breaking it down into cellulose.
So like cyanophores.
Basically, yes. Something which is uncommon in all other forms in the animal kingdom. Then it's kind of more similar to feeding it to their family members.
Okay.
But they literally, the youngest generation takes all the blunt of foraging, digesting food, and distributing the digestive materials through the whole colony.
Okay.
That's your first job. Soldiers are more specialized, with enormous heads and extremely powerful jaws. They don't even feed themselves ever, instead relying on the generosity of the worker class.
To make their plates, basically.
To put food in their mouth.
Oh.
They can't even eat.
Wow.
They literally have to be fed.
Wow.
So these giant, you've seen termites like with the giant brutes that hang out with the little ones. If the little ones don't take care of their giant brutes, they lose their defense system. These giants cannot feed themselves.
Huh.
So they're literally cells. It's like the immune system.
And when are they going to make this movie?
There are already some space movies kind of about this. So like I said, soldiers are even more specialized. Then there are the reproducers. Fertile nymphs become sexually mature and eventually leave the colony to find mates. Then, so fascinating about termite development is the number of any caste can change under the circumstances they require. Workers can morph into soldiers whenever they need. They can even become secondary reproductives. Everybody can become anything at a moment's notice.
Whatever the time calls for.
This flexibility allows the colony to change and adapt quickly to changes in the environment. Like a snap of the fingers. It's insane. These guys are so much higher above ants. But they get lumped together in the thoughts. It just blows my mind that ants, you have to, like ants, wasps, bees, all in the same family. They have to feed special nectars to become certain things. The worker caste of termites, any one of them can become anything, and they can do it not instantaneously, but pretty much instantaneously as far as the colony is concerned.
What do they do? Just go into like a little...
There's pheromone triggers.
Okay.
So they literally melt their body down and become the next thing.
Ugh. What, like in a cocoon or something?
Yeah, a chrysalis, yeah.
Chrysalis? What's that?
It's a little different than a cocoon, but it's like a cocoon.
Okay, fair enough.
I've
never heard it before.
So, like moths make cocoons.
Yeah.
Butterflies make chrysalis.
Whoa, wait. Okay. Oh.
Even though a lot of people call butterfly cocoons.
Yeah.
They call butterflies cocoons. It's a chrysalis.
Oh.
Because it's actually the skin of the thing. Like the cocoon, the chrysalis is a living part.
Huh. No, I didn't know
cocoon,
that.
when you see moths, it's built out of like fur and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dead material.
Yeah. Huh. Didn't know that.
That is a very mild breakdown of how that works.
Yeah, but hey, the more you learn about.
But yeah. So moving past all of that amazing stuff is they are ecosystem engineers. Probably the best single ecosystem engineer Earth has ever produced, rivaling that of humans. The success of termites makes them a force to be reckoned with in any environment. They're such a powerhouse influence in their environment. They are considered complete ecosystem engineers. The sheer number of them both feeds and recycles a huge amount of biomass. And the nutrients they break down are tremendously valuable to any plants in the soil. In a very short time, they could turn a desert into a rainforest.
We need more termites.
Like other cellulose-diversing herbivores, they produce an extreme amount of gas. It is said that termites are responsible for around 11% of the atmospheric methane released, with others estimating it much higher. So you hear all the stuff about cows and stuff like that?
Right, yeah.
Termites alone probably produce about 11 to 12% of the methane in the atmosphere.
Oh, that's... never mind.
You can literally explode from lighting fires around termite colonies.
That's pretty wild.
Because they have little vents to get all of it out.
Right, yeah.
And if you accidentally are one of it'll just blow you up.
Huh. That's pretty weird.
So, moving on. Number 9. Their greatest enemy is the animal they're often lumped in with.
Ants.
Ants and termites hate each other extremely.
The natural battle.
Despite having a huge range of predators and that will diet on them, the genre of ants are specialized in predating on termites. The ant species Megaphoria and terrestrius are both termite eaters, and will enter raid termite colonies to eat them, using their maxillas to carry them away back home for lunch. So literally just run into these termite colonies, grab a bunch of workers, and run away.
Wait for them, yeah.
So while an individual ant is much bigger than any individual termite, the termite soldiers will just literally cut ants in half left and right.
Okay, so it's really not
it's a war.
Yeah.
In some cultures, these ants specialize in collecting in a pot in the tens of thousands, releasing the gas to make the roof of their house to remove termites.
Okay.
So literally, some cultures will put a bunch of ants into a pot, boil it, and the smell will scare the termites away in their house.
Huh.
Other animals such as centipedes, cockroaches, crickets, spiders, aardvarks, anteaters, bats, bears, and many other species specialize on feeding on termites. Some are capable of consuming tens of thousands of them in a single night. And most large termite colonies shrug this off.
They don't even care. Drop in the bucket. The ant thing, boiling them is kind of blowing my mind.
Well, it's just like a smell just deters them.
Right, yeah, but still, like, who thought of that?
Somebody that watched termites and ants fight, and
I guess so.
How do I get that?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So, number 10, and this is my last little freaky fauna fact. Termite queens have the longest lifespan of any insect in our world.
Wow, okay.
So, most termite queens can live between 10 and 20 years.
That's almost unbelievable.
Well, how old do you think our oldest reproductive female we've ever found is?
15 years.
52 years old.
Oh, how's that even possible?
So each queen roughly produces about 10 million eggs. So a 50-year-old queen produced 500 million eggs.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And they have other reproductive members in the colony. However, some termite queens, like I said, live on average between 30 and 50 years, reproducing annually and founding numerous colonies. That's another big thing, is that there will be, like I said, reproductive caste will form. Sometimes you see it in the colonies where they will actually help their quote-unquote mothers produce more eggs, especially in times of need. Other times, the big thing is they'll go find mates and go start new colonies.
Mm-hmm. To start a whole brand new one?
Yeah. So, like I said, the one in Brazil is 4,000 years old and still going strong. I guarantee if you fell into it, you would just die.
Yeah, probably.
Because the termites they're just so many of them. I don't even know how many. They have no estimates of how many termites are living in that.
I want to see like a 3D.
You can find the ground penetrating radar of it, and there's still a lot of questions about it. We don't know if it is in fact a single colony in one space, or if somehow there may be, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8 queens that are all related,
and they're just working together,
and they have probably borders, but they probably just don't fight about it.
Co-inhabiting.
Yeah. One void. I could see it really either way. I'm going to lean personally more towards it's one colony.
Probably.
Because we don't really see that pop up anywhere else.
Right, yeah.
But we have seen mothers and daughters work together in times of crisis. So there could have been a mega trigger event. They just never got out of quote-unquote crisis mode.
Okay.
That is another thing suggested.
Now they made their own ecosystem, basically.
Basically, yeah. They never turned off crisis mode.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
These are probably, like I said, the most fascinating animal ever on Freaky Fauna.
Ooh, and I've got another one to add to the list.
Of termites?
Yeah, another Freaky Fauna fact of them.
Okay.
So Australia, the didgeridoos, the instruments.
Are hollowed?
Yeah, they're hollowed out branches of trees, hollowed out by the termites, and they take a really hot iron or rod stick that they basically jam down the middle of the branch.
Burn them out?
And burn out the hollowed out termite-infested thing, until they make their instrument. So nature makes that instrument.
Until man kills all the termites that were enjoying their home.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the termites used up the tree. They were done with it. So that's what's left behind.
That's why he had to burn them all out?
Well, no, he just burned out basically just hollowed it out with it was already hollowed by them. He just finished it off with the burning it out.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, and we didn't even cover, they make massive, so those spindles you see above ground, the termite mounds, some of them, depending on which species, are harder than concrete, and there's a couple of them that make like steel-level concoctions.
Oh, wow.
where they mix mud with other chemicals and then special chemicals they produce in their guts.
Right, their spit.
Yeah, that they make compounds that rival steel.
Well, it's probably some of those compounds that help them explode too.
Well, that's different. That's different compounds.
Well, I mean,
that's copper or something.
It's just how you want to appropriate it.
And some of them are toxic as well.
Yeah.
I mean, just plain out, just like cyanide filled.
Yeah. Don't eat them. Don't eat termites.
I mean, there are plenty of cultures that eat them.
Don't eat bugs.
I think you should.
We're better than that. We don't need to be eating bugs.
Bugs are the single probably best protein source on the planet. You shouldn't be forced to eat bugs is the thing.
Yeah, we don't need to eat them.
But no, I mean, these guys are truly amazing. Like I said, they kind of get a lot of their credit lost in the ant wash.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people's, like you even said at the beginning, like, oh, isn't that ants that are, many, many times bigger than humans? And
right.
It's termites. They're a whole species. Like their whole ecosystem is built on the back
of a termite.
Of these massive colonies. Like kind of like Bob the fungus out.
Right, yeah.
But even bigger than that.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about.
And this is one of when you look at insects, it's kind of a hard level. You mentioned it earlier with cyanophores. Of where does it go from colonial organism? Like, even though it's many, many individuals.
Right.
There is no sense of self in this. The queen doesn't have a sense of self. Neither does the worker. Neither does the suicide bomber.
They're all one.
100%. So, and then they spread messages across through pheromones.
And headbanging.
So in our bodies, that would be cells talking to each other through electrical impulse and pheromones. They do that as well. And chemical responses, which these guys do that as well. So where does it go that a termite colony is an individual organism? Or where it is not?
Right.
There's a lot of argument.
Where do you draw the line?
Like, they're considered a superorganism.
They make soup?
Yeah. But no, like kebab, it really is hard to draw the line. These guys may just all be one body and one mind. So technically they may be one thing.
Like a big hive mind?
Yeah. That's kind of where the term, I don't think the TV does a good job of showing it. Like there's not a billion voices talking at once in a head.
Right.
It is a thing. It is one thing. There's one goal. They make decisions and we don't even, there's a lot of research going into decision making with these colonies, how they fight or flight, how they handle stuff.
Right. Like one thing all connected mentally.
Yeah. But TV does a very, very poor job of showing that.
Right.
Like the Borg from Star Trek is one, where it's a hive mind.
Right.
But it's billions of voices getting lost in the wash. These guys, it's one. It's more just to say it's one mind. It's not a hive mind.
Right. It's one mind with thousands or drones.
Millions of bodies.
Yes. Yeah, basically.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed termites.
Oh, I got one more too.
Okay.
Supposedly if you burn termite nests, it helps keep mosquitoes away.
Probably all the extremely dangerous chemicals inside of them. It's probably not good to breathe in.
Probably not, but I've heard that. It's a good mosquito deterrent.
What? Who told you that?
It was on one of them probably Man vs. Wild or Survivor Man shows. You throw a little piece of your termite nest onto your fire, and the smoke it produces is a mosquito repellent.
Probably all that cyanide is dumping in the air.
Yeah, maybe that. I think it was on one of those survival shows.
So wood eaters produce a lot of really bad chemicals too.
Mm-hmm. I bet that's what it is. But yeah,
it's probably not great.
Mosquito repellent.
It'd probably be better to get bit by mosquitoes and breathe that in.
Well, you're not breathing it in. The mosquitoes are.
It just happened to be in the same air as the mosquitoes.
Anyways.
All right, guys. I've been the Great and Peaceful Mystery.
And I've been Jay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.